Hello everyone, you are on the Player Review Team channel. One of the most underrated geniuses of his era is Ángel Di María and his retrospective card for a modest 60,000 coins in the SBC. Today we will not only break down his in-game model, but also remember how the Argentine made entire stadiums fall in love with him. Di Maria's in-game model, same as our content, is unique, but you can make Ángel even more unique with the free cornerstone evolution. It might worsen the design, although it gives +2 for the club and simplifies linking. By the way, do not forget to subscribe so you won't miss our breakdowns of Kempel, Cordoba and Gamsik as the most interesting players from the upcoming picks. Plus, at the end of the video, we will share our thoughts regarding the new evolution for a CB for 100,000. Back to Ángel, who received 5+3 for the stars, which is fairly accurate, although he was clearly undertuned in pace. That is why it makes sense to use Hunter or Hawk for long shots, and don't worry about dribbling. Trust me, there is zero need to boost it. In the playstyles, the only thing worth complaining about is the absence of tiki-taka and pace talents. Everything else is top tier. The Argentine has the inside forward role on the right attacking flank, which perfectly matches his talents, and we will talk about this in detail in the video. Guys, Weekend League already starts, which means it is time to grab the best rewards. If you thought about boosting your account and at the same time having the chance to watch the stream, write to us. Contact is in the video description. Some might fairly point out that you may feel short on pace on the wing, but as always, the triangle timing solves it, and after that, your player becomes almost unstoppable. As for pace without the triangle boost, it is also fine. You can still burst through on a knock-on. After that, you use a ball roll, a scoop turn, and look for a teammate with a quality finesse. Speaking of finesse, what about Di Maria's own finesses? As we remember, he was excellent at placing them after solo runs into the box from the right flank. As expected, the virtual Ángel is in no way worse than the real one. Practically every finesse inside the box ends with a goal. Long-range ones are worse, and in 10 matches we didn't score from distance, although that is fixed by Hawk. So if you want more authenticity, it makes sense to use it. Besides, Ángel's shots were not only about curve, but also about shot power. On the card we see 87, but in game they feel weaker, so Hawk makes sense. Although even Hawk won't allow him to recreate what the real Di Maria did against Betis and in the national team. At the same time, do not underestimate the chip shot talent, which is always useful one-on-one and during the opponent's panic reactions. Again, this talent was not taken out of nowhere, but from real matches, when the Argentine elegantly chipped keepers on the same level as his legendary national teammate. By the way, his weak-footed finishing inside the box is also fine. But here it is more worth noting the stylish first touch and turn rather than the shot itself. At this stage, we move on to dribbling. First, notice this sharp left stick cut to the side with a following finesse. Let's watch this speed again. Add the 5-star skill moves Trickster, and you get an unstoppable dribbling machine on par with today's Yamal, both real and virtual, but we will compare them at the end of the video. Ángel always knew how to escape pressure on tiny patches of grass, emerging victorious. He could dribble past several players, then glide through them like a knife through butter, while decreasing their transfer value. Even Puyol suffered back in the day. Because of his characteristic dribbling, the Argentine got the nickname Fideo, which translates to noodle. So don't be surprised that we are obsessed with solo runs instead of passing. Believe me, Di Maria is capable of a lot if you add some skill moves and golden technical. And by combining short L1 with R1, you can weave through defenders in the spirit of the already mentioned legend and national teammate Lionel Messi. Again, it is very convenient to keep such a player on the flank because it is easier to disorganize and lure opponents out. This reminds me of that goal where the opponents couldn't handle the pressure and scored an own goal. Yes, those were the days. Trickster is another tool for both stylish and sometimes effective take-ons, but don't get carried away. If you love solo runs, the best solution is to combine skill moves, Trickster and left stick with R1. Basically everything this card can offer. I want to recall a useful tip from previous seasons where Trickster helped to exit into a finesse. It is still relevant this season. R1 is also relevant, which correlates with his solo runs and the opponent's helpless aggressive reactions. So use R1 more often. It not only helps to escape aggressive defenders but also to earn penalties, considering the sharp left stick movement with R1 fouls will become frequent. And by the way, penalties are great. This is where shot power is really felt. Di Maria practically destroys the net with his rockets despite average penalty stats. He has very high dead ball stats, but strangely no talent. Despite weak heading and jumping stats, the Argentine has a decent body that sometimes helps to win aerial balls. No surprise. As a child, little Angel helped his father at the coal warehouse where he literally carried bags. Later he would say, "Coal made me stronger." That is why, despite being skinny and nicknamed Noodle Angel, never had a weak body or bad balance. Even in the current game, he does not feel weak. Sure, his body is not powerful and he can be pushed, although ball control and aggression help with ball recovery. His legendary Rabona passes deserve separate attention. That is where the real magic was. In FC 26, you can also perform them, although the silver triangle is much more useful. It grants the Argentine excellent incisive passes, although an incisive pass into the box is not as interesting as a trivela into the same spot. And this is where inventive comes into play, which grants the virtual Angel such passes, useful for long balls from the flank into the box. Let's conclude. With the Cornerstone evolution, we can simplify linking, which means this is not a real problem. This is where the downsides of a 60,000 coin fodder card end. Yes, you can nitpick the absence of rapid and quick step, but this is not a problem considering the triangle mechanic when your players get a pace boost. Plus, this is not only a legendary memorable player, but also a great card for current FC 26. You get skill moves, trickster, finesses with triangle. Everything is present except tiki-taka. Although again, this is nitpicking. An incredible left stick that is definitely on par with Yamal despite the stats. Essentially, you are getting a player similar to Yamal who feels even faster and stronger. Although if the Spaniard still satisfies you, you shouldn't replace him, unless he is tradable. We will say something shocking. Di Maria was more enjoyable than Hansen and Salah. So consider Angel if these players are tradable for you. Obviously Salah's golden finesse matters, as does Hansen's 5-star weak foot, although you get the point. Of course, Nico is stronger and much faster, although he has nothing close to this left stick, not to mention skill moves, trickster and triangle. Angel links to the recent Simeone, whom we covered in our Twitter. If you compare them directly, Simeone is faster, stronger and has the meta tiki-taka, although we would still pick Di Maria as the more skill-based and much more beloved player. As promised, a few words about the recent 100,000 evolution. In reality, it is expensive and not particularly necessary. Considering the prices for central defenders, there is little point in upgrading someone like Araujo for a golden anticipate and +0 pace. Although if you have some interesting evolutions with high pace, for example this guy of ours, then go ahead, because you can get a beast for a long time. If you still have questions, write them in the comments, we will try to respond quickly. And do not forget likes and subscriptions so you don't miss this. We are not afraid to say it. Unique content. Reminder that detailed ratings for Angel Di Maria will appear in our Twitter. Thank you for watching until the end and see you in the next videos.